What's happening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk with yours, Kwame Fisher Jones. As always, I am him. With the NCAA tournament in full throttle, we got a lot of upsets happening, but none more glaring, none more telling than Kentucky losing to Oakland. And a 14th seed, I want to make sure I have that right, a 14th seed losing to a third seed or a three seed, it's not that big of a deal. But it becomes a big deal when you've got two of the top players in the upcoming NBA draft on your roster, and Dillingham and Shepard. It becomes a big issue when just 2 years ago you lost to the number two seed to the 15 seed in St. Peter's. It becomes a big issue when it's a theme or a recurring theme, which seems to be the case with John Calipari. He's always got the best talent, but not yielding the best results. And when you've got the best dancers in the party, then you should at least always be on the floor. And that doesn't seem to be the case with Kentucky. Quite frankly, and I say this and I don't mean to suggest and I don't mean to offend anybody, but COVID may be the only reason why Calipari's name is still on the Kentucky men's basketball head coach's door. Because this loss was unacceptable. You won a title 12 years ago. I get it. But this loss, the loss to St. Peter's, most coaches lose one time, once, as a number two seed to a 15 seed, and they don't get a redo. They don't get a remix. They don't get a ditty. They don't get to come back and get another chance to run it back. Not only does he get another chance, he got another chance, and another chance, and another chance. And then you lose to the 14th seed, which subsequently loses the following round. You're hearing things about relationships with boosters or relationships with fans, relationships with athletic directors. All of those things don't matter. And while they may matter to some, the biggest thing is the fact that he is not producing on the court. He is recruiting the best players. And this is not, I don't mean to be facetious or to embellish. Put this in perspective. For the last 10 years, he has had a top 10, a first round pick in the last 10 years of every NBA draft. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those have been top 10 picks. So I'm going to say this again. 6 of the last 10 years, he has had a top 10 pick in the NBA draft. And again, he won a title 12 years ago. Now, he played for a championship not too long ago. Let's unpack that a little bit. Let's consider this. When winning in an NCAA tournament, most people will say it's hard. And that's fair. It's a fair point. So is life. But we managed to fight through it. Everything is difficult. But we managed to get it. It doesn't get easier. Each round gets harder. There's a new set of challenges. There's a new set of obstacles in life. But it's the previous obstacles that you overcome that make you stronger. So if you keep falling short at the same obstacle, maybe you just ain't built for this. Maybe this just ain't for you. We'll say that winning is hard. Winning in a tournament is definitely hard, but we managed to succeed in life. He succeeded in getting to this level. So don't give me it's too hard. Don't give me that, when you've got the most talented roster every year, you should be competing for a title every year. You should not be winning one title in 12 years. You should not be getting top 10 picks year after year after year after year and getting bumped in the first round more than you're making it to Final Fours. You've got Final Four talent, but you're yielding first round results. That's coaching. The argument that he needs more experience and more talent, that's where I take umbrage. That starts to irk my soul a little bit. And that's where it gets a little ridiculous. So he needs everything to win. Charles Barkley once lambasted LeBron James because he said he wanted more talent. This dude doesn't want to compete because he had Kyrie Irving and Kevin Love, but he wanted to match wits with Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson, and Kevin Durant. So they got mad at him because he said we were too top heavy as a roster. And it wasn't so much that he was too top heavy. It was that 1 through 15 wasn't as good as the opposing team's 1 through 15. But the issue that Barkley had and a lot of people had was you've got to make people better. Now, I'll take you there to bring you here. With Calipari, at what point does coaching matter? At what point does building confidence in players matter? At what point does preparation matter? At what point does getting your players in situations that they're going to be facing down the road and having them prepare for that matter? See, you can go into a house and sell a bill of dreams. You can go, someone comes to a car. People go to car lots. They buy cars. And then they take the car off the lot and they're not happy. So they bring the car back. You're getting more and more people bringing cars back to this dealership. So I'm going to use that analogy again. People are buying cars, i.e., buying hope, buying belief, because you got the best cars and the perceived best cars in the county. But those cars aren't making it off the lot. They're all falling apart. So are we blaming the mechanic? Are we blaming the dealership? Or are we blaming the cars? The players are going on to the next level and succeeding. Jamal Murray is one of the top guards in the NBA. Tyrese Maxey was an all-star this year. Willie Cauley-Stein, not too hot. But the list continues with guards. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, top player in the NBA. So I can give you, for every Willie Cauley, I'm giving you 3 to 4 Shai Gilgeous-Alexanders, giving you Tyrese Maxey's, giving you Jamal Murray's, giving you Tyler Herro's. Those are all Kentucky dudes. De'Aaron Fox's. Those are all Kentucky dudes. Malik Monk. Those are all Kentucky dudes. And they're all succeeding in the NBA at a high level. So the cars are going to different mechanics, and they're riding just fine. But when they're on that lot, when they're under that mechanic, when they're at that dealership, they can't go 5 miles without giving out. So where should the blame lie? Squarely on John Calipari. He should not get another chance. He should be fired. And I'm not talking about him personally. I'm not talking about the cut of his jib. I'm not talking about his family. I'm not talking about relationships. I'm not talking about what restaurant he goes to, who he may not like, where he parks, what type of Nikes he wears. All of those things are inconsequential. The bottom line is he has the most talent of any other team, and he is yielding the worst results. He is losing the teams that aren't even sending players overseas and don't give me experience. It doesn't matter. Experience is only relevant when you don't have it and you lose, because you got to gain experience by winning. So the only way you're gaining that experience is when you win. If he's got the fastest cars, they should be going the fastest. They should be winning the fastest race. Point blank, period. And when you look at this, and this is not a trend, this is a pattern. When you lose by 6 points in 2021-22, you lose by 6 points in 2022-23, and then you come back and lose by 4 points in 2023-24. That's execution. That's late game adjustments. That's building confidence. Coaching. That's what we pay you for. That's why the kids go to the university. Or are they going to the university because they know that it's a highway to the NBA? Are they going to the university because they know they're being prepared to be better NBA players versus better college players? Now the plot thickens. That's why John Calipari should be fired. Not because they're not winning NCAA tournaments, because he's not keeping the main thing the main thing. See, my man, you're there to win NCAA championships. You're there to compete for NCAA tournaments. You're not there to get guys to the NBA, which you're doing a great job of. You're doing a fantastic job of getting dudes to the next level, but they're paying you to succeed at that level. And there should be no question that that's his goal at this point. There should be no that at this point, his job to him is to get guys to the NBA. And that's great. He's running an after-school program that's getting guys. He is running the best AAU program in the world, because everybody he touches is going to the NBA and being nice. Problem is, in Kentucky, Big Blue wants them to win in the tournament. So now you got to ask yourself, what do you want if you're Kentucky? Do you want to see your former players be the best players in the NBA? Or do you want to see your current players be the best players in the NCAA? You've got a very simple choice to make. And I think the answer is obvious. I think it's completely obvious. And don't give me there's only, I heard Reese Davis say this respectfully. I heard Reese Davis say that there's only 2 people that can coach in Kentucky. John, please. Yeah, please. Almost made me call you a racial slur. Like, you're telling me of all these coaches in the land, all these coaches in the world, there are only 2 that can coach in Kentucky? Stop. I believe Tubby Smith won the title of Kentucky. I believe there were other coaches out there who have earned the opportunity to show that they're cut from a different cloth that can get this done. The problem is you need a guy that wants to win in college and not a guy that wants to get dudes to the NBA. If you do that, then you'll be successful. in college. If you don't, you'll continue to be a stomping ground, a launch pad to the next level. You'll continue to have a smorgasbord of guys that used to attend Kentucky that didn't do anything while they're at Kentucky. And that doesn't help anybody. Everybody, you're looking at it's great to have the most former top pick player. I don't know how to phrase it. It's great to have the former players, John Walls and the DeMarcus Cousins of the world. It's great to have those things. But if they're not winning, if Anthony Davis isn't doing it at Kentucky, no one cares. If Karl Anthony Towns doesn't do it at Kentucky, no one cares. That's why those guys are slipping to the 20s because they're not doing it at Kentucky. That's why the Shays and the Tyrese Maxeys are slipping to the teens into the 20s. That's why Murray isn't going first overall because they're not doing it at Kentucky. But they're being prepared to do it at the NBA. So to sum it all up, to wrap it all up with a bow, what's the goal? What's the main thing? What's the objective here if you're Kentucky? To make great NBA players or to win NCAA championships? When you decide you won't retaliate against the issue, you won't respond, you'll resolve it, and the resolution will be firing one John Calipari. That's it for this episode of Unparalleled Sports Talk. If you enjoyed the podcast, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, do whatever your podcast platform allows you to do. And as always, till next time, we appreciate your time and your ear. You be easy.